What's up, guys? Chasing Lamely here, and another week has passed. Another FM26 update, so we're going to take a look at it together as we tend to do. This is our FM26 match day experience, and as usual, we're going to go through the video in slow-mo and just see what we can see in the game. This video, they were talking about the new player animations and the on-pitch visuals being elevated, which, I'll be honest, they are still elevated, but I'm not sure if this is supposed to be their attempt of depth of field or what it is, but it looks a little bit clunky. Let's be completely honest about that. The action's looking good. The on-screen graphics are looking fine, but I'm not convinced by necessarily some of the crowd textures, some of the even on-field textures. I'm aware this is still very early game footage. It's nowhere near finalized. The new lighting looks good. The new highlight system, which they've been talking about, where we are going to see games with sort of dynamic highlights. They've let's look at that first. Where we're going to see games that are sort of a bit non-eventful or games that are absolute whitewashes. We're going to see less highlights. Whereas games that are action-packed will see more action. So they've been talking about the new stadiums and how the new stadiums look good as well. And they do, although we've still got random objects just hiding in corners. There's a market stall here at Brighton. I'm not a Brighton fan. I've never been to the Annex, but I would wager there is not a market going on at the corner of their ground during a match. Just a small observation, but something like this is supposed to be Old Trafford, and it genuinely does look good. This is Leverkusen and looks fine, looks pretty solid as a top flight ground goes. This sort of looks a bit like Arsenal, you know, and I was called the Etihad then. My brain couldn't get there. It's been a long day. It's looking good though. We've got Hawkeye getting involved to help make the matches look better. They've been motion capturing. Apparently they've been doing some kind of AI scanning of actual in-game footage as well to just try and make the game feel more real, which is nice. They've been talking about this weighted passing as well, where they've got some kind of calculation going on behind the scenes, so you'll see more through balls and other such things happening to make the game look more football-y. They've tried to recycle the footage we saw in the women's football announcement of the motion capturing things. They've been using the word bespoke every 3 seconds, just so we know that it's bespoke. Apparently, someone bought them a dictionary between 24 and 26, and it was the only word in it. But, you know, what we've seen so far of women's football does look like women's football. I'm loving the stadium environments as well. I said that before. I'm really enjoying those. The lighting looks so good. The one thing I will give them credit for, as much as there are certain things like the crowd textures that don't look good, the animations are looking better, but the crowd textures aren't looking necessarily good, is that the lighting looks very real. And that was I don't know if we'll be able to slow-mo that. We'll have a go. We'll have a go at slow-moing that more if we can. Because one thing that I thought was really good here, in fact, I think we can make it go even slower than that. We can't. Okay. One thing I really liked here was that the player cuts here, the player with the ball here, cuts past the defender, and he sort of instinctivly puts his hands behind his back as the player passes. It's a really small detail, but he put his hands behind his back as the player passes, just like you'd see a player do in real life. So if he decides to throw himself to the floor, there can be no doubt he didn't touch him. Or if he decides to kick the ball at him, there's no doubt it wasn't a handball. Really, really nice attention to detail to have stuff like that in the game, just to build that realism a little bit, just to build that kind of feeling of footballers doing footballery things, which is nice. And that's what they were talking about with the weighted passing. You would never see on FM24, you very rarely see, I should say, a player attempting a through ball through, 6 players here that could get to that, and it getting to the man. It's such a small thing, but it's nice to see that in there, and this is a lovely finish. I mean, it's a Man United finish, but it's a lovely finish. The ground, like I said, this version of what we're supposed to believe is Old Trafford in the game actually doesn't look that bad. I mean, they've not got the leaky roof, but they've got everything else that you would need to believe that was Old Trafford. Here we are with HSV and Wolfsburg, and a lovely looking cross. This actually does look like a really nice ground render as well. But again, that's what I'm talking about with the crowd here. It's just that they did say when they were talking about the FM25 release, for as little time as that lasted, they were working on the crowd animations to make them more realistic, and they haven't actually changed them in the last 2 years, which is nice. This is nicer, the sort of gathering of people here. I'm loving the new camera angles. I'm loving that we get different size stadiums for different crowds. I think this will drive me mad after a couple of games, having the camera switching angles, because I like, when I'm managing, to be watching either from a dugout or from a stand. I don't like feeling like I'm watching my own team on TV. One thing that's always bugged me with FM, I know it feels like the smallest gripe in the world, but it's one of those small gripes that even FIFA manages to get right, is that the benches are always opposite where I'm supposed to be sitting as a manager. Surely I would be on the bench or in the stand behind the bench. I wouldn't be on the other side of the stadium. That's always really irritated me, and I hope they found a way to improve that, because that would be nice. Apparently they've improved the audio. I can't play the audio, we'll get copy striked. It does sound better though. You can go and check out the video yourself, of course. It does sound better. I am hoping, and there were a couple of comments on the video about this as well, I am hoping that we're not going to have the same crowd noises for a Premier League game and a level 20 game, where it sounds like there are 10,000 people in the stadium when you can see there are 3. I don't need that in my life. That's just not... That's why I always have the sound turned off, because it's just not immersive. They've overhauled the replays, apparently. I don't really see how this is different from the old replay system, bar it having the sort of improved graphics. I don't see how this is improved enough to warrant its own special section of the video. I am very aware I've still got it on that half speed, on that quarter speed setting. Let's pump that up a little bit so we can actually get somewhere. We've got some beautiful footage of goal scoring here. Again, the crowd is not great. This is a new thing though. This is where we can see our new highlights, which is nice to see. So let's have a look just to see if we can spot. It's a non-final capture. Camera options, of course, we've got 2D Classic, which we can see in the game as well between highlights, which is nice. A behind the goal aerial, broadcast, tactical, dynamic, sideline, and vertical crop. Again, I think that dynamic sideline is still going to be on the opposite side to the dugout, which is very annoying. In terms of the highlights, we can have dynamic mode, a smart mode, which selects modes depending on context, more highlights at the end of a cup final. Obviously, we've still got full match, comprehensive, extensive, key, and only commentary. I don't know if that needed the graphic there to tell you what that means, but maybe some people genuinely don't understand the difference between those words, even though it goes in order of most highlights to least. Who knows? You have a 20 times match speed between highlights now, which is nice to see, because I don't think we've had that specificity. We all just kind of drag it to the end, don't we, and hope for the best. But we can actually see what those values are, so you could have much faster highlights. Graphics quality is very high, which is what we're always going for. I should still be able to do that. And yeah, we've just got a little bit of a view of what's going on there, just to keep things looking strong. And this is the dynamic mode. I know I said before as well that this is, we have, you can see, got the highest quality of let me put the video, and this is as high quality as of footage as they've managed to capture so far. So I feel justified when I say that some things don't look great yet, but you know, it is what it is. It's Football Manager. We don't expect to have FIFA 26 graphics. It's looking better than it was. I am disappointed the crowd hasn't looked as good as it could do. They're talking about the upgraded stadiums. We can see all the upgraded stadiums here as well. I say all of them. We won't see all of them in this, but this is the thing I'm loving, is this new behind the stadium background feeling. It's really nice. We can see here that we are supposed to be somewhere sort of semi-urban, sort of one of those outskirts of town kind of stadiums. Got a few office blocks in the background. We've got a couple of houses. We've got trees that sort of look like trees. which is nice to have in there, just because we're all sick of looking at the 2D trees. I love these sort of tower blocks. I'm guessing this is somewhere... Well, I'm guessing this would be Bournemouth. Looking at that... Oh, just managed to break my chair. Good stuff. It's the Bundesliga, so I can't work out from the kits. My brain's not that good at working out the kit. There we go. Sutton United, I believe this would be. And that looked pretty non-leaguey. Then we've got, I mean, this is Hornchurch. This is AFC Hornchurch against Enfield. And this looks like probably a solid, what, 80% of non-league grounds I've been to. It's sort of on the edge of a housing estate. It's not got a complete stadium. It's got a tiny stand. A little bit of fencing up behind the goal just to stop the ball flying into the council estate. Got all this new lighting as well, which we know looks really good. We've been talking about how good this looks. The way it changes with where the sun is, the weather conditions, it all looks really nice. Just little details look good. We've seen some of the cutscenes in the trailers already. Step out onto the pitch, obviously. I mean, this all looks good. It's nice to have that next level of presentation before a game. I don't know if it'll be league specific or how that'll work. I am liking that we've got the 2D pitch on the sort of between the highlight screen. There's nothing else dramatically exciting and new there, but the presentation of it. But, you know, we've got options for our dugout things. This is at half speed, by the way. It's just flying by, so that's fun. We can see our match action happening, which is nice. We get a sense of what's actually happening on the pitch rather than having to guess from the highlights, which is always a good thing to have, always very helpful to have. We've got our assistant input here just to, you know, give us the sense of a conversation on the bench. And then we get our highlights cutting in. Beautiful header for a goal there for Tottenham to equalise against Wolves. That's an awkward one. And this, I have no idea who some of these teams are. This is the London City Lions against Everton. I know that because we will be playing as the London City Lions once we get the game dropping in a few weeks' time. But that's all of our things so far. I think we can safely say things are looking pretty positive for FM26. I've only got a few weeks to go now. We'll see what next week's reveal, because clues in the name. And for now, I'm going to leave it there. If you want to pre-order the game, I've got a link in the description below. You can click on that, and that will save you a little bit of cash, and you'll help the channel out, which is nice to see as well. I'll be back next week, hopefully on time next week. I won't be tied up on Thursday with 50 different things. I'll be back next week to talk through whatever they reveal next week. And thank you for watching, guys. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the new reveals we've had so far. It'd be nice to know what your thoughts on the game are, of course. But until next time, thank you for watching. As always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, stay safe, and have a good one.